Hello, my grateful viewers, and welcome back to another video. This is one of the worst videos, one of my worst uh, performances in racing in GT Sports. Probably because there's a lot I haven't shown you, but this is I decided, you know what, let me humble myself because this performance did really humble me like big time. So yeah, we'll be driving the 911 RSR 2017 Porsche GT3 group class. Yeah, in WeatherTech Laguna Seca, and it didn't really go as expected. It was the worst week of how can I put it, performance in racing in this game. And we're gonna start off with it. Okay, it didn't really start off that bad, but the kind of mistakes that I was doing during the race were really questionable. Because I did a good qualifying, ended up in P2, so this is a really kind of like a high lobby, I might say. Not really that high, but mid-high lobby. But anyway, starting off in P2 with German in front of me, Russian behind me. It all started well because I didn't expect it to be that hard. Laguna Seca is really fun for driving. Not the best, but it's still good fun because it has a lot of technical corners. It has a lot of how can I put it? Restrictions on the track limits, because if you dip two tires most of the time into the gravel in either side of the road, you're gonna be sent on to the bad track, and you don't really need that in this game. But anyway, starting off well, defending off P2, trying to attack P1, the German driver there, who was kind of getting away in the Volkswagen there, which is actually a good car because it's not really as wide as thick as most of the other cars. Like the Porsche, as you see here, it's kind of a big boy. Also, the Subaru also beside me, the wide body gang. And almost lost it there. That's the first mistake I did. Not really feeling comfortable after the previous races, the previous manufacturer series, the first round. But the second round was okay. I hope you did enjoy that video. As I lost position there, down to P3, and the coming attack from the guy in P4, the French driver. But he happens not to go for the lunge and century, which is amazing for me. So try also another Subaru representing his flag as a livery. I didn't say that. But anyway, going down for the second lap. First lap, amazing, good racing, and the second lap he did go a little bit too deep, and he did leave the open, so I had to take a chance and position back. And actually, I did stay there for a while, for like a long while, until lap number 8. Even though P1 like started just pulling away because they did some mistakes, kind of small mistakes, and did as much as he did retain here in P2 he was really pulling away from us, and here's where everything all went to shit, I might say, because went through here a little bit too hot, but lost control on the strip here. Almost caught it, but for some reason, since I put all the 4 tires on that area across the white line, which is there's a lot of dirt there, for some, I don't know, it's just the physics of the game. I ended up not getting it in hand and lost 4 positions there, so I ended up down into P5. Not really that bad, but we was supposed to actually go for a pit, which was not really that necessary, but it was mandatory for us to go in it. I should have gone a little bit earlier, but I made the mistake of going in at the end of lap 11, which there's no need for changing of the tires, but I did want to change to get some fresher tires so that I can recover from the position that I'm losing at the moment. As you see, now we're all the way down into P10, and when we're gonna come out, probably will be in P10. So yeah, P11. There goes P9, and there's another guy thing on the racetrack just behind there. And coming out, look, getting a bit squally there with the Spaniard in the other Volkswagen, which I don't know. I'm not sure if it's gonna leave me some way to go through. But as you see, lost a lot of time, and actually the guy the German driver who was in P1 goes in at the end of lap 12. So not really that bad. He did make a good gain of everybody else, making minimal mistakes, which is supposed to be that. And I don't know why the Spaniard driver did that. You're supposed to move on to the left side so that I can pass on the right side. But anyway, for him trying to go for a field trip with the driver was great. I'm trying here to see how the perspective of this corkscrew right here, the infamous corkscrew at Laguna Seca, you really can't see anything. You just need to know the track by heart so that you can have a good racing line through there. And also, it's a little bit too competitive if you're going a little bit too risky if you're going side by side there. But anyway, all in all, finishing P10, not the greatest that the race that I would have done, but I decided to go again. I was hoping actually the first mistake that I did wasn't going to affect my races afterwards, but in turn, it took to turn for the worst at the moment. This race was actually also a good one. Started off in P2, a little bit lower tier lobby because I finished all the way down in P10. So the servers decided, you know what, let's see if we can do well in this kind of lobby. And starting off again, the Italian in front of me, also in Volkswagen Beetle GT3, which actually you seemed as a better option, but for the long straights, the top end speed, it is kind of lacking, but it does make up for its cornering abilities. Which, if you like any other car, if you like hone its abilities, you can do very well in it. For me, I haven't tried it yet, but probably will. Probably might make a video about it. But anyway, so far so good. A little bit squally, a little bit going sliding through the corners because the tires are a bit too cold again. But I'm holding off the German driver behind me in also another Porsche, which is also a good car. It's conservative on the tires. I don't know about the Beetle. As it goes a little bit through, it did cut a lot there in that corner. And as again P1, hopefully I can stay there for a while as I ride that sausage over there, and also ride this other sausage over here, which is you need to keep away from them. If you're going to ride them, just hope it doesn't unsettle the car completely. And over here, I lost concentration, braked a little bit too late, and lost a lot of time to the guys in front of me, behind me actually. Oh, used to be behind the game, it's already got into my mind. And the German comes in for the lunge for the because I did make a mistake. Even though I would have just let him go through because just needed to get away from the guys behind. And 9 laps later, I did a mistake here. I think for some reason I felt like the tires were not touching the ground there. I went a little bit too narrow there on the corkscrew. Tried to maintain stability of the car, not to spin round, but I ended up just spinning round, and I lost a lot of time to the guys in front of me, losing 3 positions. Ended up down into P5, and again having good races, but ending up with just little minor mistakes that cost me a lot of time and a lot of positions and a lot of morale. But I did decided not to go in for this lap, so to see if I can manage to go for the overcut. Which the undercut would have worked for me, but I would have gone in and then tried to compete with them. But I ended up going for another 2 laps, and at the end of lap 10, go in for my pit stop, which again, it's not really necessary, and I just decided to change the tires, but so that I can have a better chance in challenging the guys in front of me. And coming out, do come out in P, it's gonna show as long as I get out of the pit lane right here. The other Porsche, the Swiss driver in front of me, we're gonna have a bit of an altercation, not between us, between me and the track, in the same spot. As I said, coming out in P7, which is great. So catching up to him right here 2 laps later, he does go a little bit too wide there, dirty tires, and I go a little bit, because I thought he was going to spin round, and I ended up spinning round, and he also spins round right here, which is just comedy. Yellow flag is facing the other way, lose 2 positions. We should not be moving, we should not be doing that, and we should be very, very much ahead, challenging the guys in P1, P2. But anyway, we still have to attack the Spaniard in front of me in the another beetle. They were using a lot. Most of them are using it because it was kind of like the best car for this track. Even though it's not close to the fastest straights, but I think this track with the elevation and everything at the moment, yeah, you need a car that can handle well, and also that's why I went for the Porsche. The Lexus wasn't feeling it that much; it was a little bit too heavy for this track, and as Italian there goes a little bit too wide into the gravel and ended up finishing in P6 because there was a person who didn't go in for his pit stop, the guy in the C4 4C, the Alfa Romeo, and that was the second race. Good racing, can't complain much about it apart from the mistakes that we were doing. And we're going to join into now where everything did really go to shambles, I might say, because it started off as a good race. It did start off as I did think it's going to be a good race until some moments in time future. We're going to get to that time frame. But so far, we started off. We had a lot of Italians in this race. First lap was amazing. Second lap, that's where everybody started going for positions because the tires are up to temperature. So the Italian goes wide there, loses a position up into P3. The Alfa Romeo, the guy in the Italian, goes a little bit too slow, too wide there. I had to bump him a little bit so that he can get there. We need to get to the guy, the German driver in front of us. And right here, he was being too defensive, and I had to just let my way through because the German you see in front of me is just pulling away from us. Tried to go for the outside and decides to push me off. I did a 360, no scope, definitely, and maintained the position. So the tires were not really that dirty, but even though it was a little bit too scarce for not spinning around in that hairpin right there because it is very easy to get on the power. And if you have dirty tires, the tires spin and they spin around. So going down into the second corner, first, I would say second corner with an asterisk right there because the bend right there on the straight is kind of the corner for some reason. And I decided to go ahead and take the position here because the Italian in the Porsche went a little bit too wide, have the inside, and then go in for the turn, a little bit of a slide, and he decides to just come and push me off. I don't know, it was kind of weird that they were racing like this in this, I don't know, the lower lobbies. Sometimes it's good racing, sometimes it depends also on the time of the day. And this actually was another new day because, yeah, it was a whole week of trying to get some good races. This is just a summary of how the week went. A little bit further ahead, we do meet up with this driver over here behind me, the Portuguese driver, who actually was menacing, I might say. We kept a close distance between the both of us. And right here, I decided to go in for the lunge. I saw him on the radar, tried to go for the cutback, and actually kind of worked. I just kind of touched him a little bit on the rear, a little bit of bump, and but still, I did get a good drive through to down to turn one right here. This is the bend, turn one, and then turn two right here. Decided to go on the outside, but I braked a little bit too much so that he can get the correct driving line, but he stayed on the outside. So right here, I decided to hang it out on the outside. I gave him enough space, and he turned into me because I did feel like I was hit, like I just lost it. And we're gonna see that because in the radar, actually, when I was reviewing this portion right here, this here, we're going side by side, and then he decides to turn left, push me off, and it just, I don't know, do people just feel good for doing this to other people? Like I got reset, losing a lot of positions. Now my race is ruined. We had actually a good race with the drivers in front in the top view, but it was just comedy, it was just jokes, it was just bad racing, bad sportsmanship. And right here, after my pitch, as you see, I have fresh tires, but cold tires, and I don't know. I guess my concentration was really thrown off by that play by those players, and I decided to enter the shadow realm and go again for another race. And hopefully this one was going to be a good one. Hopefully, I was hoping so much that it was going to be a good one, and it almost was in that because it did start well, P3, and If you're still here at the moment, I like the video will be amazing. We're supposed to do these things as YouTubers, and tell people to remind people to subscribe, remind people to like the video, which is much appreciated in the end of the day. Kind of gives us motivation to go ahead with our hobbies, playing games, making videos for you guys. And turn one, turn two, turn three, clean racing. Actually, didn't expect that from this M3 because it was a very, very oversteer kind of car. Is it oversteer or understeer? For most of the time, I get the two confused. But anyway, he was keeping a grip of this M3 because it's not really good. It's not really great in cornering that much in the tight corners. And right here, dip two tires on the grass, and you wonder why race? Why live this life? Because things like this happen, and you can't do anything about it. If you dip two tires onto the grass, you end up going for a drift session on the wrong track day. You understand? You get the joke. But anyway, just trying to keep it sane by myself because it did start well. I was expecting it to be an amazing race, and I see the Russian, I don't know, I left space for him, but he still wants to push me off. And right here, losing it completely, almost actually destroyed another person's race. And I'm severely sorry about that. And I'm all the way down to P19. From P3 to P19, lost 16 positions just the first lap. Decided to go for just to try and cover up all the laps, all the cars that I could, and I don't know. It wasn't for me. Just had to rage quit and start off to the last race. This is the last race, probably. No, there's two more races because this is also another interesting race where there's the French guy and the German guy are not really in good terms with the Swiss driver in front of the guy in P2. So starting off, was okay until this point right here, down the corkscrew. The German driver punts the Swiss driver, goes a little bit wide, comes back, give him space to recover, going down because we were pulling away from the guys behind us. And almost went a little bit too wide there. I think I did because I was all over the rumble strips here and get a 0.5-second penalty. And the French guy goes in for a dive bomb and and takes out the German driver. The German driver tries to take the Swiss driver, but he forgets he's ghosted. He can't touch somebody when he ghosted. So now it's really, really heated up between the three drivers. I am just watching it in shock. The German driver punts the Swiss driver wide. I go in for the lunge because the door was there. Try not to push him. I don't want to get into an altercation with them. I don't want to get pushed out of the track. As you hear the German driver just trying to take the position, the Swiss driver pushing them one, and the French driver decides to take them both out of the race. I'm going to serve my 0.5-second penalty here because all of that was happening. I was just in shock because I didn't expect it to be happening that bad. The Belgian driver goes through me actually because I was serving, almost went back into solidification and probably wouldn't have ended up in the back of me, and also me ending up into the grass, and that's not a good thing to happen. The British driver comes back in for, because he had a better run through the top of the hill, down the corkscrew, a little bit of a break, too much. I'm not supposed to break a lot that much, but anyway, almost into the back of him, trying to take the overtake, but he was defending a lot and decided to go for the lunge here because probably his distraction from the Belgian driver in front of him. Yeah, and I predicted that, and he does get distracted, and he gets the position lost by me, and I get up to P3, running up the hill, had a better run through side by side, a little bit of a late break, hope to cover him off, but no, he just puts his nose in there. So 2x2, actually it's kind of possible, if we're clean about it, we can make it 2x2 through there, a little bit of a touch of the sausage there, but still making it competitive, great competitive racing between the three of us, the British guy, me, and the Belgian driver in front of me. So going down, to the last hairpin, the last corner, a little bit too wide there. I almost lost it, and the British driver goes again past me. Oh, and there's a German driver behind me, so we need to go and like we need to take care of this. Like this matter, this fighting over here goes a little bit too wide, covers it off back. As I say, this car is good because it is a narrow car. It has more track area use, I might say. Like for us, you need to put two tires onto the gravel and two tires onto the rumble strip so that we can take advantage of the full width of the track. As I take the position here, we went a little bit too wide. Try and late brake, cover him off. Oh, eat the sausage there, which you're not supposed to eat a lot of because you get kind of bloated. And right here gains back on me, but I cover him off, eat the sausage again, ride the sausage this time through in between the wheels, which is what you're supposed to do if you're not riding on two wheels. And right here, the Belgian almost getting a little bit too loose. And here is where he got a little bit too wide and I get a better run. Move on to the right side, see if I can take it again with late brake right here, just before the two, and I try and cover him off and move it down and dust it. I thought that was it. But then when going up again to the hill, I don't know, this point of the track, this sector of the track is where I did most of my mistakes. You see here, almost caught it again, but I don't know. I just ended up into the barriers, into the tires there, and I lost all that momentum. I was supposed to catch up to the guy in P1 best game or 6.9, because 69 was taken, so it goes to 6.93. But anyway, and it ended up for my pit stop changing into new tires and came out in P9, which is, I know some people need to go in for their pit stop. I think the guy in P8 who moves onto the left side. This is how it's supposed to be doing. You move onto the left side so that the faster person behind you can have it through. And a lap later, we do catch up with Buick here in the Corvette, who was a little bit kind of slow, I might guess, because of he had worn tires. Maybe just pitted and didn't get his tire changed, and then I just went for the launch because he braked a little bit too earlier, and I wasn't supposed. I didn't want to get left behind with everything else, with like everyone else, like lose time to everyone else. That's what I was supposed to say. And he comes back in for a launch right there, and which was unnecessary because he did lose me a lot of tenths there, the guys in front of me, and he goes a little bit too wide. I have the inside of him, just right there, just trying to assert my assertiveness, and done and dusted. He tried to, I don't know, bang my front wheel for some reason, and I think he forgot that damage doesn't work like that in this game. Oh, when the German driver gets reset right there, I think so, because I can see, I think, yeah, he does get reset. And so far so good. So we are still maintaining good time, even though I can see the guys who were fighting with just in front of us as you go and almost actually overlap one of the drivers here. Finishing off with the race. Was some good racing, and I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, do like the video, sub to the channel for more content like this, and I'll try and do better next time. But anyway, be wholesome, take care of yourselves, say somebody you love them, and peace.